To put it bluntly, I really don't have the ability to support an enterprise. It's too easy to bring down a company. If I catch a small problem and magnify it, the company will be finished. I sold one of my watches and the funds on my bank card were frozen. The reason was that I sold a Rolex watch on a platform. The buyer asked his wife to come directly to my store to pick up the watch, and his money was directly transferred to my bank card. On the second day, my bank card could not be used normally. It was frozen by the Shanghai municipality, saying that the amount was suspected of fraud. The company's working capital is all there, with almost $184,000 frozen. If we make any progress, we will inform the person involved. China's real estate industry has fallen into depression. Local governments have lost their land finance sources, and their income has been greatly reduced. What to do? Local officials are targeting private companies. Some local governments allow local police to conduct so-called off-site handling of cases and rob private enterprises in other places. The Chinese people refer to this phenomenon as offshore fishing. Today, we will talk about this topic. But before we do, we would like to invite you to subscribe. Your support is our greatest motivation and helps us bring you more valuable content. Now, moving on. The term offshore fishing is still very vivid, just like a fishing boat going out into the ocean to catch fish. Public security police dispatched by some local governments in China arrest, seal up, or freeze the property or personal property of private enterprises in other places under the guise of handling cases in other places. It's like a big fisherman's catch with a lot of money to be made. Private entrepreneurs are divided into two types. One type is entrepreneurs who are deeply involved in the local area. They often deal with the local government, public prosecutors, and legal agencies and contribute a lot to the local economy. The local political and legal agencies can protect them, and it's difficult for them to be snatched away by the police from other places during the offshore fishing process. The other type are the bosses who have no local backing, so they are easy to be fished out. For example, many internet technology companies and e-commerce live broadcast companies do not rely on local policies to make a living, but rely on the internet to make money. Apart from paying taxes, they do not have much interaction with the government, public prosecutors, and legal agencies. These people have relatively large amounts of money in their accounts and can easily be targeted by local police and become targets of offshore fishing. The local authorities of the CCP have robbed private enterprises from other places on a large scale, especially in some economically developed provinces such as Guangdong, Henan, and other provinces. This seriously affects entrepreneurs' sense of security and development confidence. There used to be a saying that in China, one has to go to Guangdong to get rich. Now, this sentence has become, if you want to catch fish, then go to Guangdong. Fishing refers to off-site law enforcement. According to a report released by the Guangdong Provincial Situation Investigation and Research Center, the Pearl River Delta region has become a hotspot for off-site law enforcement. Taking Guangzhou as an example, since 2023, nearly 10,000 companies in Guangzhou have encountered off-site law enforcement. The vast majority of these enterprises are private enterprises, and the vast majority of cases have obvious profit-seeking motivations for law enforcement. For a time, the word offshore fishing became popular on the internet, which has greatly damaged the local business environment. There is an example in the Guangdong province internal reference released in April this year. There is a company called One Health Group in Guangzhou. This company has an annual revenue of more than 300 million. It applied to be listed in the Hong Kong stock market last year, but because of an $84,000 dispute between two businesses, the public security bureaus of two cities in Henan province jointly dispatched more than 1,600 police officers to Guangzhou City to conduct offshore fishing against One Health Group. One Health said that hundreds of employees have been questioned by the police and dozens of people have been detained. Although the total amount involved in the case was only $84,000, the Henan Public Security Bureau froze 64 accounts of the group, with a total amount of funds as high as 100 million, causing the group's list plan to go to waste, and the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Puning is an important commercial city in eastern Guangdong, where textiles, clothing, and medicine are the two pillar industries. Local private enterprises have also become targets of offshore fishing by police from other provinces. I believe everyone in Puning has heard that someone around you was taken away by off-site police. There are too many cases of this kind of profit-seeking law enforcement and making money from other places. The case-handling agencies in some areas even deliberately manipulate the situation to lure companies into the situation, creating jurisdiction where there is no jurisdiction, or find someone to deliberately trade with the company. As soon as the company collects the money, they will immediately arrest them across provinces and freeze their accounts. Puning is a coastal area where private enterprises are concentrated, is regarded as a big fat sheep by some mainland authorities, and has suffered greatly for more than 10 years. Now, the Hangzhou police have set an example and are no longer used to this bad operation. The local police station in Hangzhou issued a reminder to inform private enterprises in the area that if the out-of-town police are not accompanied by police from the local public security bureau, they are handling the case illegally. They can immediately call 110 to call the police and videotape evidence. This kind of offshore fishing will affect the fiscal revenue of local governments, so some places have begun to fight back. In addition to Hangzhou City and Zhejiang Province mentioned above, Guangdong Province has also introduced a new regulation. The regulations state that without review by the Guangdong Provincial Public Security Department, public security officers conducting law enforcement in other places are not allowed to freeze the accounts of enterprises in Guangdong Province. Without direct evidence, the company's production equipment is not allowed to be seized. I don't have the ability to support an enterprise. It's too easy to destroy an enterprise. If I say there is a problem, there is a problem. Can you believe that this is what someone from the Municipal Supervision Bureau said to the enterprise? This official has so much prestige. How much power does he have? The cause of the incident was that the Municipal Supervision Bureau of Chengmu County, Shandong Province received an anonymous report letter. The content of the report was that Tangshan Medical Technology Group Company Limited was suspected of pyramid schemes in Chengmu County. After the Chengmu County Municipal Supervision Bureau quickly intervened, it determined the matter on July 29th and issued a notice to Tangshan Buck identifying the company as suspected of pyramid schemes and planning to fine it 3.6 million. After Tangshan Buck learned the company was under investigation, they immediately applied for a hearing and requested a review of the case. However, the Municipal Supervision Bureau went uncharacteristically and rejected Tangshan Buck's reasonable request on the grounds that there were no relevant regulations. Seeing Tangshan Buck's disobedience, the Chengmu County Municipal Supervision Bureau made another ruthless move. Before making an administrative penalty decision, they even applied to the court to freeze millions of dollars of funds belonging to Tangshan Buck and his related individuals. Tangshan Buck had no choice but to send someone to negotiate with the Chengmu County Municipal Supervision Bureau. A staff member named Zhang said without hesitation that we have a performance requirement of 7 million per year. If you are targeted, it will only be bad luck for your company. Zhang also said that I really don't have the ability to support an enterprise in a harsh way, but it's too easy to bring down a company. If I catch a small problem and magnify it, the company will be finished. Buck Company stated that the person in charge is willing to cooperate in providing evidence to prove his innocence. When the staff member surnamed Zhang saw that the other party could not understand his words, he spoke more bluntly, saying that we have a performance requirement of 7 million and the minimum fine must exceed 3 million. This staff member also gave Buck Company an idea, saying, if your company doesn't want to pay the full amount, then find a scapegoat company to share some of the money. As long as this company has some business dealings with your company, we can handle them. This is not the first time this kind of operation has occurred in Chengmu County. Since 2020, the Chengmu County Municipal Supervision Bureau has frozen the accounts of several foreign companies in the name of pyramid schemes, with a total of 110 million in frozen funds. This practice of going to other places to rob large households is like looting. Offshore fishing not only targets private enterprises, the Chinese Communist Party's police's offshore fishing operations also begin to target individuals. On October 31st, a woman in Shaoxing, Zhejiang posted a video online with her ID card in hand, saying that due to poor business and no cash flow, her husband sold one of his watches for 56,000, but his bank card was frozen after receiving the money. The police in Xi'an City, Hebei Province said that the 56,000 her husband received was suspected of electronic fraud and took her husband to the local police station for detention. My husband sold a watch and I was deducted $56,000. On June 18th, 2024, our family had no cash flow due to poor business recently, so my husband sold one of his watches for $56,000. My husband bought this watch 2 years ago for $59,000. Now, because the business is sluggish, he can only sell it at a cheaper price. We knew that just after we sold the watch, the card in my account was frozen at night. We were also confused, so we asked the bank, and the bank said it would unfreeze it for us in 2 days. We waited anxiously for 2 days. Unexpectedly, it was the police from Xi'an City, Hebei province who arrived 2 days later. My husband was also confused and was taken to our local police station in Shaoxing by the police from Xi'an City, Hebei province. I was waiting outside very anxiously, and then the police from Xi'an City, Hebei province came out. He said that the money we received, that is, the $56,000 we sold the watch for, was a fraudulent fund from their local Xi'an City, Hebei province. Now my husband is wanted online. I almost cried when I heard this. We are honest people doing business conscientiously, and the money we earn is hard-earned money. Why does this happen for no reason? I asked anxiously, is there any way? We didn't do anything. Later, the police in Xi'an City, Hebei province asked us to transfer $56,000 to their branch in Xi'an City, Hebei province that night. After I forwarded the money to them, my husband came out that night. We just traded a watch to support our family. Now the watch is gone and the money has been seized. It has been 140 days since this happened. I don't know how we spent this time. My husband can't sleep well every night because of anxiety and is frightened every day. We are just buying and selling things. We are just ordinary grassroots. If something like this happens to us, I would like to ask, what should we do? Chinese netizens could only sigh and leave messages. Face reality and don't have any illusions. The police are gangsters and law enforcement is breaking the law. If they don't have money, they will come in police uniform to rob. It doesn't matter if you accept it or not, he is the boss. This is no accident. Similar incidents have occurred in China recently. A woman in Zhejiang sold a second-hand Rolex watch for $20,000 and her bank card was immediately frozen.
今年2月，浙江温州的曹女士
In February this year, Cao, a girl from Wenzhou, Zhejiang, sold an unused Rolex watch on a second-hand trading platform with a price tag of $20,000. In June, a buyer expressed his intention to purchase on the platform and agreed to the time to do the transaction online. As we all know, when trading on second-hand platforms, if it's a valuable item, many buyers and sellers choose to meet offline for transaction because it's safer. Therefore, Ms. Cao didn't think much about the buyer's request. On the day of the transaction, a watch inspection master inspected the goods on site and said there was no problem. The buyer transferred $20,000 via bank card and Alipay. Logically speaking, this was a normal transaction, but who knew something would happen that night? That night, Ms. Cao's bank card was frozen. She went to report the incident the next day, but after reporting the incident, she was even more shocked. She was told by the local police that she had been listed as an internet fugitive by the Yunnan branch of the Guangdong Public Security Bureau because there were victims who reported the case, saying that they had been defrauded, and the money received from selling the watch were funds involved in the case. After understanding the ins and outs of the matter, the Wenzhou police issued a statement confirming that Ms. Cao was not a suspect and hoped that the Guangdong police would terminate their online pursuit of her. What was the result? The Wenzhou police's explanation of the situation has no effect and they won't listen to you at all. If they want to impose a crime, why bother with an excuse?
人家压根就不听你的，欲加之罪，何患无辞？
As a last resort, she transferred $20,000 as stolen money to the Guangdong police. The police then lifted the pursuit of her online and granted her bail pending trial. This means she still carries the label of a fraud suspect. She felt very desperate. Not only did she lose a $20,000 watch, but she also had a criminal record. She suspected that the Guangdong police were engaged in offshore fishing and were using her to improve their performance. For more than 3 months since then, she has been communicating with the police asking the other party to give her a reasonable explanation. However, the Guangdong police have never given an explanation. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a message, and share it with your friends. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.